Say hi everyone and welcome to the video. No, she's saying mommy bug off. Here you go, tuck your little legsies in, otherwise you won't get cold.
Hey everyone, my name is Milo and welcome back to my channel. Oh my god, it's been a fat while, and if you couldn't tell from that intro, my baby girl is here. And this is how this video is going to be. Anytime I want to try and make some progress, she is going to wake up and start crying and or screaming, I am sure. So, oh my god, and there's a cat. What do you want? So welcome to my living room, everyone. Today what I thought I would do is kind of go through my birth story, what it was kind of like, stuff that's happened, how it's been for the last 4 weeks, because she is now 4 weeks old, which is insane. But because I can't just sit and talk and do things without fidgeting, as I'm already doing with my hair, I'm also going to be doing a little get ready with me kind of thing, do my makeup and stuff, because I'm going on a little coffee date with one of my mates. And she's just going to be in the background making noises as always. My hair, would just like to say, this is not on purpose. Like, I haven't curled it, I haven't done anything to it. But I went to sleep by accident last night with a scrunchie in. Like, I put my hair up in like a messy bun at the bottom of my head and went to sleep with it in by accident. It was during a nighttime feed, and this is the result. So, heatless curl addicts, eat your heart out. I am going to quickly throw it back, just so that I don't get like moisturiser and all the rest in my hair. Dobby, what are you doing? Oh no! What's up, Egg? Okay, so let's get started. I have a feeling I'm gonna have to stop and feed her soon, but we'll see. Okay, so if you guys didn't know, I had a planned C-section. I think I've mentioned in a previous video that it was for medical reasons. So I have EDS, if you guys don't know, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. And because of that, there was, of course, additional risks if it came, well, with pregnancy anyway. As I found out, I had fun. But no, there were like additional risks with giving birth naturally. Of course, high risks of dislocations, especially in my hips and lower spine. But then also, because of the way that like EDS affects your skin and your tissue structure, there's like high risks of bleeding and tearing and all the rest of it. I'm not trying to fearmonger anyone, because I'm not going into like massive details on it, because I found it better to just not educate myself too much, because I didn't want to scare myself too much. But if you have EDS and you are pregnant or thinking about getting pregnant, talk to your doctor, don't listen to me. Oh god. Yeah, so we decided very early on that I was going to be having a C-section, because it was what was safest for me and baby gal. Of course, having a C-section is a major surgery, so there's a bunch of risks with that anyway, but it was the best way to have control over the most variables. And that's what me and my partner decided. And then to add to that, I have an allergy, well, I'm allergic to local anaesthetic. Which is also linked into EDS. Local anaesthetic and anaesthetics in general have very different effects on people with EDS to normal people. I can't explain the science because they're not 100% sure on the science of it anyway, but that's the thing. And then I also just have a general allergy to local anaesthetic. So that then very much changed my surgery, because it meant I couldn't have a C-section. Egg. Been fed, should be good now. Back to the video. SPF. Anyway. Yeah, so because I have an allergy to local anaesthetic, I of course had to have a very different C-section. I had to have one under general. Now, I don't know if you don't know anything about C-sections, but normally you're awake because it's local. Child! Normally you're awake because it's under local anaesthetic. You know, your partner gets to be in the room with you. You get all these extra little things that you get to do. You actually get to be involved in the birth. Yeah, no. Under general, you can't. It becomes a major surgery. There's more people in the operating theatre. Daddy's not allowed in. Child, I've got her sat down on my lap now, so hopefully we can do this, yeah? Anyway, so, because it was under general, Duncan was not allowed in, which kind of ruined everything about my birth plan. I struggled a lot when we found out this, because we only found this out like 2 weeks before I went to give birth, with the whole general and stuff. We also found that because of my allergy to local anaesthetic, if I had gone ahead with giving birth naturally, I wouldn't have been able to have like any of the pain meds or anything. It would have been a mess, essentially. So kind of glad we went ahead with the C-section, even if it means that I've now been suffering. Boop. So, she was born on Thursday the 25th of May, and on the Tuesday we had to go in, have like your booking in appointment, your clerking appointment, which is pretty standard for like any like operation. You have to go and have your pre-op. So me and Dunk went to have the pre-op. I was given my compression socks. I was given a prescription for some drugs. I'm pretty sure, if I remember rightly, they are like, oh my god, what's the opposite of laxatives? I can't remember what they're called. But they're essentially, you get some drugs that like slow down your bowel movements so that you don't like shit yourself during surgery and stuff. And yeah, you get your compression socks, they do a blood test and all the rest of it, ask you a bunch of questions, make sure you understand all the risks and everything, like make sure you know what's going on. So I did that, and then we jumped forward to, that is a horrible spot. We jumped forward to Thursday morning. So I wasn't, well no, actually Wednesday night, I wasn't allowed to eat after, I think like, oh no, I wasn't allowed to eat anything after 2:30 AM on Thursday morning, which is fine because I was asleep, or pretty much asleep. And I wasn't allowed to drink anything after 6:30 in the morning. But then I had to take drugs at 7 AM. Logic it. I don't know where the logic lies, but there we go. So I took my drugs at 7 AM and then, well actually I took them a little bit before that. I probably did take them at like 6:30. Because we had to be at the hospital at 7:30 in the morning. Which in the grand scheme of things is not that early, but no. So my mum, these cats are cursed. Anyway, me and my mum and Duncan all get in the car and we head to hospital and everything. We get all booked in, you know, I had all my suitcase and I had everything packed. We get booked in, off we pop into a bed on what was a very nice ward, or bay, whatever, which is like a room with 4 beds in it. Brain hurty. Anyway, we were on a very nice room when we were waiting to go into surgery. When we came back from surgery, I was put in a shit one. A really shit one, in a shit position. I had no natural lighting. I was literally squared off in a corner, wanting death. Oh my god. Anyway, I headed down for surgery at like, I think it was probably about 11:15 in the morning. So of course I'm not allowed to eat during this entire time because you can't eat before going under general. I mean, you can't eat for any surgery, but like it's longer with general. So I'm starving and stressing and all the rest of it. But anyway, we go down, I think, at like 11:15. And Duncan came in with me while I was getting like my catheter put in, which again had to do without any numbing or any painkillers and stuff. Horrible, do not recommend, hated it. I will never have one ever again. No. Had to get that put in, had to like take some shot of something, don't know, had to have my cannula put in, which you can still see the scar from it because EDS things I don't heal. Are they even? I think so. Had to get that put in. What else did they do? They then like, oh yeah, they check all your vitals, like they do obs on you, like observations, make sure you're good. They do obs on baby and stuff, make sure everything's fine. And then when they get the go ahead, Duncan was literally in with me until just before they put me under. And just as they're getting ready to put me under, like they're ready to go, they then escorted Duncan out. He got sent back to the ward to wait. And then they do the, I don't know if you guys have like ever seen in medical dramas and stuff, when they're prepping for surgery, they rub this yellow stuff all over the area, which is like antiseptic, I'm assuming, of some sort, or disinfectant or whatever. But they rub that all over the area. It was cold, it was nasty, I hated it. And then they ask you, they're like, okay, are you ready? And I'm like, sure. And they're like, right, we're gonna put you under now, like make sure you're taking these nice deep breaths through the oxygen mask, which honestly I think I would have died without the oxygen mask because I was starting to panic. And then they started to push the general and they're like, okay, you're gonna start feeling a bit sleepy now, like, you know, just keep breathing, nice deep breaths, all good. And you start feeling it, but for me, the way it felt, like, because you start to lose kind of like, you lose all the sensation in your entire body before you actually black out. And for me, it felt, because I'm someone that faints a lot, I'm pass out and I've had seizures and stuff, it felt like the beginning of one of them. I knew I was fine, I wasn't going anywhere because I was laying on a table and I was literally surrounded by like doctors and medical professionals. So I knew, that was a lot. I knew I was fine, but it was just like that familiar feeling of, oh my god, everything's about to hit the deck, am I in a safe place? All that panic that I would normally have when I feel that kind of sensation. I started having a panic attack as I was going under, which means when I woke up, I was having a panic attack. Which is great. Surgery was fine. I will insert, I'll ask Duncan first, but I'm sure he won't have any issues with it. I will insert some photos of what Duncan got to do. So this is not entirely normal. I will explain what happened. It's not completely normal for when you've had a surgery under general. However, we were quite lucky that our like medical team or whatever were quite lax. They allowed Duncan to get to do all the fun stuff. So he wasn't allowed in the operating theatre once the operation had begun, obviously. But it was the adjoining room where they had to take this little nugget right here, who was trying to roll away. Yeah, you, Bean. It was the adjoining room where they took this little nugget to do like her weighing and to wash her and do all the rest of it. They brought him into there. So she was born at 11:15, so it was only like half an hour, not even. Because they try and like, if you're under general, they try and rush the birth part of the operation because you don't want general anaesthetic going into the child. And of course, while they're still attached to you inside, like placenta and stuff, anything in your bloodstream, which anaesthetic is in your bloodstream will be going straight into the child. So they rush it, like, pretty much. But Duncan gets called in and he goes into the room and then there's a baby. One of the midwives actually took photos in the operating theatre so that we could see the moment she was born as well, which I do have those photos. I have a lot of photos. A lot of them I have not seen myself because you can, like, see things. And it's like, no thank you. Yeah, but he was then brought back in and he got to cut the umbilical cord. Not from being attached to me, so they cut it right next to the placenta because the placenta has to stay in the operating theatre, and then he got to trim it basically. But it means he got to do it, and then was there for her being weighed and all the rest of it, you know, all that good stuff. Very, very cute, very cute. We love. So yeah, he got to do all of that stuff, and then he went into the recovery room with her and is then sat there waiting for me to come out. And when I came out into the recovery room, when I was like first coming to, he start with, apparently it was quite funny because I just looked like I was sleeping, and like I was kind of mumbling a bit. Apparently I was drooling, as you do. Love that. But then once it kind of wore off entirely and I was awake, it stopped being funny very quickly because I went into a full panic attack mode. Now, I know I've just praised my medical team for being incredible and doing all this stuff for Duncan. However, when they took me off the frigging operating table and moved me onto a bed, they put me on top of my catheter tube, which means nothing could come out. So I come out, I'm already having a panic attack, and then I'm telling them I need a wee. They're like, no, you don't. No, you don't. You're waffling, that you're fine, there's nothing wrong with you, you don't need a wee, you have a catheter in. You don't need one, it will happen. And I'm like, bitch, I'm telling you, I need a wee, I'm in pain, it hurts, I feel like I'm about to wet myself. You get to the point where you're then trying to, but because you have a frigging catheter in, you can't even force it out. It just, you know, it is what it is. They eventually go get my mum because I was in an absolute state. I wouldn't even look at her at this point because I was a mess. I did not want my first moment with my daughter to be while I am having a full-on meltdown. So they went and got my mum as well so that she could try and, like, calm me down while Duncan is dealing with her. While this is all going on, they're trying to talk to me about feeding her. They want me to try and breastfeed her while I am in that much of a state. And I'm like, nah, not happening. I'm like, yo, Duncan, just feed her the formula. I don't even care. Just do it. Just go away. Just do it. Get her away from me. Let me sort myself out, please. My mum comes in and she's like trying to calm me down and everything. And then someone eventually, after like 10 minutes or whatever, of me going on about how I need a wee, someone checks and they're like, oh, you were on top of the catheter, so nothing was leaking out. So actually, yeah, you did need a wee. Oops, my bad, sorry. I'm like, my guy. And another thing they don't really tell you, or they can't really prepare you for, is with general, you have no numbing. Like, once the general anaesthetic wears off, so once you wake up, that's it, there's no numbing. So the pain, oh my god. The pain, it hurts so much. Funnily enough, 7 layers of tissue have just been sliced, like through your organs even. Like, it's mighty painful when you're not numb. It's not fun. I don't recommend. Yeah, so I was just very uncomfortable and not enjoying life. They then, bless you. That's so cute. They then, once like they had assessed that, like, you know, everything was fine, they moved me back to the maternity ward, which is than where I spent the next 4 days. Oh, and it was once we were actually back in the maternity ward. That's when I then had my first meeting with my little bean. Yeah, with you. And I will insert that photo because I burst into tears, funnily enough. This little one is also very cute. Here you are. What? She's also got a very, very strong neck already and keeps trying to like sit up and look around. Yeah. Yeah. And then we met and Mummy cried and then we had big cuddles. Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. And Daddy did everything, didn't he? Yeah. So, to start with, you literally can't do anything, you can't move. You are stuck in that bed. I couldn't even really move myself on the bed. Like, I couldn't really adjust how I was laying or anything. It was very painful. They got me some very strong painkillers. It was great. But again, I could only have like normal level painkiller or like just bog standard painkillers because I'm allergic to local anaesthetic. So struggling. So I didn't really do much with her on the Thursday especially. The Friday was a bit different. I'm not going to go into detail on like the entire stay I had in hospital because the general consensus from me and everyone I know is it was shit, it was horrible, I hated it. Traumatized, very much so. Questioning the legality of some of the things that happened. Never again. Never again. Worst 4 days of my life. Fully. Like, actually, trauma. No. What? What's wrong? Okay. Bloody growler. Yeah, so, no. So that's the birth story, essentially, though. That's the birth. She was a C-section. I have then had no end of issues since she's been born. Not with her, per se. With me. They messed up my stitches, so I'm now having to deal with the repercussions of that 4 weeks later. 4 weeks later, it took them almost 4 weeks. Well, actually no, it took me 3.5 weeks to be like, hey, something's very, very, very much wrong here. And then they were like, oh yeah, something's very, very, very much wrong here. They did this wrong. I'm like, oh, joy. I love that. We love when they do things wrong and it like could have ruined me. Yeah, but I'm up and about now. Obviously I've pretty much lost all the weight already because I didn't put on any weight really while I was pregnant. I lost weight while I was pregnant. I lost a lot of weight whilst I was pregnant because of how sick I was in the first trimester especially, but even into my second trimester, I was just so sick. I was barely eating anything. I lost weight. You're good girl. Okay. Don't throw up on Mummy, please. Good girl. Good girl. She's looking at me like, what the fuck? Yeah, so anyway, so I'm basically back to what I was before. I've had so many issues with breastfeeding. I tried everything. We've seen feeding specialists. I've tried everything under the sun. I did breastfeed her for the first 2.5 weeks. She then went to express milk, and then I just couldn't, my body just could not do it anymore. And she's now on formula, which there's nothing wrong with that. I think we should like try and destigmatize the whole thing. Like, it's okay not to breastfeed. There's someone that I like keeps coming up on my TikTok, where she tries to give all this like parenting advice and stuff. I'm like, some of it, sure, cool, love it. Other stuff, I'm like, really? Why are you like demonizing people because they don't breastfeed? There's nothing wrong with not breastfeeding. Some people can't breastfeed. I managed at 2.5 weeks. I mean, for me, I felt like I lost everything about being a mum anyway, because I was having a C-section and then it was under general. I just seemed to be having like everything taken away from me. And when I couldn't breastfeed to start with, it was... I literally felt like I had nothing. Which of course is a load of rubbish, because I still gave birth to the child. You're still mine. You're still my being. I meant, I was going to say she's like 50% me. However, based off of how she looks, she's 100% me. I don't know where the Duncan comes into this, but you know, she's definitely my daughter at least, so that's always good. I forgot that I can't talk while I put mascara on. She breathes so heavily, bless her. Yeah, anyway, I have stopped breastfeeding. There's nothing wrong with that, and honestly I've found it a lot easier since doing formula, because I don't have to do it. Like, it doesn't have to be me 24/7. She's not taking anything out of me either, so I've had a bit more energy because I'm no longer making food for two, I'm just existing. I love this lip gloss. It smells incredible, it tastes incredible, it looks luscious. Let me put my hair down. Let's see how long my hair stays down for today, because the answer's going to be not very long, because having your hair down with one of these little small human things is not very practical, because she pulls it, she tries to eat it, it gets in the way of me doing things because I'm constantly bending over. It's just not fun, and I'm gonna have to go get changed because the sun's finally come out. No, I wanted to wear my jumper, but it's gonna be too hot. Oh. Oh. Anyway, more importantly, so that, let's get the baby girl back. So that was our birth story. Wasn't it, Bean? She's so unimpressed. She's looking at herself though. She's like, what the hell is that? Yeah. Yeah. So that was our birth story. This is how this little Bean came to be. Well, not came to be. Came to be in the world as opposed to in me. Yeah, she's 4 weeks old. If you guys have any content you would like to see in regards to just me, my normal content, makeup, whatever else I make, crap, really, then please let me know. And I think now that I'm kind of back existing, I'd like to try and vlog a bit more, mainly for my purpose in years to come, so that I can look back and be like, oh, look at my little baby girl. Yeah, if you guys have any suggestions, recommendations, anything you'd like to see, or anything you recommend I try, either baby related or, you know, makeup or whatever, leave that in the comments below. Please do let me know. Don't be a stranger. Subscribe if you are new or have not done so already. Give this video a big thumbs up, and we'll see them soon, won't we, Bean? Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what you're looking at, but we'll see them soon, won't we, Bean? See ya. Yeah. She's so unimpressed. Okay.